the 644-page, 459 crime Hunter Biden laptop, 1.4 pages per crime, 1 gigabyte PDF report. ICU LLC doing business as Marco Polo USA org is a donation scam, tax evasion, and copyright trap. It's a TARP. Why am I saying this? Okay, I'm going to bring up a couple of things here. I'll preface this with, I will tell you I'm not prefacing it first. Let's go on. Someone who's a fan of semi-precious stones and a band called Venom, called Angel of Damnation 666, sent me a set of links and some information and told me, this is the Marco Polo report on the laptop, and it was sent to all 535 members of Congress. Download the PDF file and see everything on the laptop now that the whole world can see it. The cover-up gets harder to do. Stop being in the dark about the laptop. Okay. Looking up the history of the website it came from and the organization that created this file, they're claiming it under a copyright. Number one, it's under a copyright. Yes, scientific papers can be under copyright as well. The facts within them cannot be. However, if you claim this as a creative work or a work of fiction, discussing it is under fair use if I do it, but I am subject to being flagged by even talking about it if they're claiming it as a creative work. And it has ISBN number 978-1-737-18866-4-9. Subcategory under creative works and fiction. So let's move on. It's copyrighted 2022 by ICU LLC. This file was created using PDF version 1.6 compatibility under Adobe Acrobat Pro 64-bit version 22.3.20258. And it has a publishing date internally on the oldest copy I can find, the original, off of archive.org of October 19th, 2022. Today's date is the 26th. It's been out for a week, and this is what was being shaken by a couple of politicians on camera that a lot of you are referring to as being 100% can't debunk it. So let's look into our source of our information. We have a chain of evidence. Remember, I'm going to talk about the chain of evidence and the fact that it's been destroyed a long time ago. This location applied for and may or may not have gotten a nonprofit 501c3 designation from the IRS July 8th, 2021. They, however, posted a corrupted version of the PDF file, which doesn't download correctly all the time, but I got a copy anyway, in spite of them. And they removed the address, but they left a mistake. One of the things that has to be done by any group that's listing themselves as a tax-exempt charity that you can give donations to is they have to include only one thing: the name of the company they're doing it under, which is that LLC name, ICU, and a 9-digit tax ID or EIN or Employer Identification Number. The number they left visible in more than 2 places, which is all that's required, is 61-1999941. Now that leads to ICU LLC, not Marco Polo, that overtly on page 1 claims to be of Effingham, Illinois, but when you open it, it's a TIFF file because the IRS is still based on idiots smashing things together like rocks. It goes to a TIFF file, but when you get the TIFF file decoded by getting, of all things, Google image search to give you a thumbnail of it, which is archived below. Yeah, I tricked Google into letting me have a copy of it that I can archive so it can't be changed off of the IRS website that's very unfriendly. Instead of Effingham, Illinois, it leads to number 30 North Gould Street, Sheridan, Wyoming, 828 801 Suite R. Now, some of you might already realize where this is going. Yeah, it's a mailbox place that lists itself as a place for your company to have its street address so it looks legit. It's a little building. It's called the Wyoming building. They don't have a physical address. It's not a legit company. It's a shell company. Suite R is actually P.O. Box R because it has to be listed as an address with a suite number, but it's literally a P.O. Box location as designated on their charter for their company. They just have mailboxes. They're technically a mail receiving and mail remailing location. By the way, you can look up how to do this in J.J. Luna's How to Be Invisible. You can also look this up under How to Avoid Paying Taxes. It's a tax evasion scam again. Let's move on. Or not. By 2021, October 2nd, as an October surprise, ICU LLC stated it was doing business as MarcoPoloUSA.org's website. An internet info file, however, says it's redacted for privacy, so you can't find any information. And again, we now have at least one layer of using a mailboxing location or a remailer. It listed itself, however, as suite number 2, which of course is going to be another mailbox location, at 2817 Reed Road, Bloomington, Illinois, 61704. Now, this only lists a location that's a little pocket of businesses, a dentist's office, and an accounting company, overtly. And again, it's a location that touts itself as your corporate office for hundreds of people in a little box. Your office is, it's this big. It's a little, it's a shoebox. So now we have 2 remailer locations hiding the identity. No accountability and no traceability. Okay. So, 2002, October 19th, another October surprise reference. They posted this 644-page, almost 1 gigabyte, Hunter Biden, 459 crime laptop report in PDF format. And it's version 1.6 Adobe Acrobat compatibility mode, 64-bit version used to make it. And it's got an ISBN number, and it's copyrighted by them, and any whole or in part is excluded from being used in any way. They rescind your right to fair use. You are not allowed to critique their work. You're not allowed to read it unless you agree with them. This is a blunt instrument to shut people up who might criticize the obvious, that it's something they did as a creative work and they're claiming a copyright to it instead of releasing it. They forwarded it to people that would be friendly to their belief system. I don't believe they gave it to every member of Congress. And all that has to happen is, instead of Matt Gaetz or some other friendly person, all they have to have is a slew of liberals decide to filibuster eventually by reading it into the congressional permanent record, as it would, so that it can never be redacted, and then they can try to sue Congress for violating their fucking copyright. So why is Hunter Biden's laptop the story that will not go away? Because people won't make a falsifiable comment or statement. Is this Hunter Biden's laptop? The only person on the planet that ever claimed originally that the hard drive, let's stop talking about the laptops and ancillary hardware. There was a or multiple hard drives at one point or another. It was either in a laptop or external. It doesn't matter. Hunter Biden's hard drive. Because the laptop itself doesn't carry anything. It's the hard drive that does. All he claimed originally, again, we have to go back to the original claim. You're not allowed to squirm out of this, is that he didn't see the person who dropped it off. He couldn't confirm it was Hunter Biden or anybody else. It could have been me. And he won't answer questions about what he saw that he said was disturbing. All he did was call the FBI and said, somebody abandoned a computer or hard drive or some equipment here, and there's information on the hard drive that is disturbing to me, and he won't elaborate, and there's no reason not to at this point. And he had the FBI come and pick it up. And he claimed he made a backup copy of, quote, the data. as a computer shop owner previously, I know that the only way you can do that to copy the data and be considered valid is if you made a verbatim perfect copy of it. He has never said that he did that. Next, since that time, the supposed presumed copy that he made has been bouncing around from Rudy Giuliani and several other muckrakers. And in every single case, you can detect very obvious examples of people editing files, adding files to the file set, or redacting them. And the original guy, the guy who ran that computer shop, said that that's what they were doing, and it was detected as being such by anybody who's looked at the data, which is the reason they wouldn't let you look at it. At first, Rudy Giuliani and the others would not let anyone look at it unless they were already friendly to them. Anybody who would criticize them, a critique, vetting procedure, was excluded. So let's go through the chain of evidence. The original source of the information and the claims won't make a falsifiable statement, I saw a donkey porn video, or something like that. He won't. Therefore, no falsifiable claim has been made. Number two, he claimed originally that he didn't know if it was Hunter Biden or not, which invalidates the whole subject matter. Next, no one has confirmed this is Hunter Biden's laptop data. Next, most of the data that people found when they were finally allowed to examine it that weren't friendly to their conspiracy theory bullshit said this is information that was posted before on other websites. It could have easily been thrown in. And they also detected the fact that the file system had been messed with and that people did a sloppy job of it. I know how to falsify a hard drive to where it literally believes that right now it is 1994. It is not that complicated to do. I know how to do those things because I've had to do them to create flat installs that were imaged of it to prove in a court case that it can be done. And also told them that it isn't difficult. You just have to know what the fuck you're doing. The only thing I see about this entire fucking fiasco is that the people who are trying to, quote unquote, analyze this or do research or do reports on it are supremely inept. Again, public disclosure, I've said this before. I'm trained in falsifying documentation because I have to be able to, I got paid to detect falsified documents. I got paid to detect whether or not a hard drive had any meddling done with it. I'm the last person on earth these assholes would give the drive data to. And there's no corrupting of the original data. All you have to do is verbatim copy it. The computer shop owner never said he did a verbatim copy to make it impossible for him to fuck it up. He won't tell us what disturbing content was on it, and even he said originally that he couldn't confirm it was Hunter Biden. The chain of evidence started with that guy and died. Ever since then, people have been trying to patch it together and keep it in the news constantly. Every few months, someone will bring up a story like this. Now, let's review again the source of the claim. The source of the claim is using at least, as far as I can tell, 2 faked addresses as a shell company. No human beings are being presented. Marco Polo obviously is an alias. And the PDF file has been deliberately uploaded in such a way, a lot like their proof letter that they're a good LLC, corrupted. It doesn't download cleanly. It fights with you. And it's a gigabyte across when it could be dumped as a pure text version conversion for the PDF file. They're the ones who created this report. Originally, it was just nothing but a text file, right? It was a Word document, okay? But they decided to post it in such a way that a 600-page file is a gigabyte? And no, that's not reasonable. That means they went out of their way to anti-optimize it to where you can't really do anything with it. But hey, I guess it prints out really pretty, because somehow that means something. Conclusion. When and or if I can download the whole thing, I will convert it over, in spite of the copyright statement, to an easier to download, primarily text version with the other information inserted so that you can actually download it and read it and critique it. And they will immediately sue somebody who critiques them because they're claiming a copyright to it. They really are claiming this as a creative work. Without reading it, they have so many bells going off here and a non-existent chain of evidence that why would you quote this? Because it's political hay. This is like screaming buttery emails, and Obama's birth certificate. These are battle cries, not evidence. Anyway, the company slipped the bitch here by pointing out to everybody who pays attention that they're running behind at least 2 shell corporation locations, or not. Or maybe it is a dentist's office, or maybe it is an accounting office. Who knows? Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.